Lewis Hamilton spun out in the rain. Days later, Ferrari handed their under-fire team boss a new multi-year deal. What the hell is happening at Maranello? It's a story that begins in chaos. Spa, wet, wild, a sprint weekend with no margin for error. Ferrari bolts on a new rear suspension, a risky mid-season gamble, and the result? Hamilton, the seven-time champion, spinning into nothingness during qualifying. No podium, no glory, just spray, silence, and more questions. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button so we can keep you updated on all the drama surrounding the sport. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc claws his way to a lonely third place, a podium that feels more like survival than triumph. The SF25 looked fragile, confused, and Ferrari looked lost. But then, the bombshell. Fred Vasseur, the man many thought was hanging by a thread, was suddenly rewarded with a multi-year contract extension. No warning, no leaks, just a cold corporate press release dropped days before the Hungarian Grand Prix. What changed? Why now? Because up until that moment, the rumours were growing louder by the day. Italian newspapers were calling for blood, whisper networks around the paddock said the boardroom was split. And even Leclerc, loyal, polished Leclerc, was starting to look elsewhere. Ferrari has never been patient. They chew through team principles like tires on a hot track. 6 different bosses since 2008. That's one for every 2.5 seasons. And most of them left with nothing but regret and excuses. So why break the pattern now? Why double down when everything's falling apart? Because under the chaos, something else is brewing. And its name is Lewis Hamilton. Forget the PR speeches, forget the launch photos. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari for sentiment, he came for war. And inside the Maranello garage, he's already shaking the walls. According to insiders, Hamilton has been flooding Ferrari's engineers with feedback, handwritten reports, data requests, ride height analysis. He's not just driving the car, he's trying to rebuild it from within. The new rear suspension? That wasn't a comfort update. That was Hamilton's fingerprint, a push to make the SF25 something more than a podium chaser, a car that can hunt in Hungary's tight corners and still breathe on long straights. But that kind of transformation doesn't happen overnight, and Spa showed exactly that. Ferrari took the gamble anyway, because they had to. Because Hungary, and more importantly, what comes after, demands it. Fred Vasseur knew what he was doing, or at least he hoped he did. Behind closed doors, Vasseur's made Ferrari tighter, calmer, less political, and while the results haven't caught fire yet, the foundations have started to hold. Trackside decisions are sharper. Strategy's no longer a meme, and Ferrari, for once, doesn't look like it's cannibalizing itself from within. Still, that wasn't enough for the press. In June, the knives came out. Italian media, notorious for their impatience, declared open season on Vasseur. Reports leaked of boardroom unease. Rumours swirled that Ferrari had already drawn up a short list of replacements. And yet, the team didn't flinch. No defensive statement, no vote of confidence, just silence. Until the contract. That's not a PR move, that's a power play. Ferrari has picked its general, and it's chosen to march behind him. Charles Leclerc seems to understand that. He's not just smiling in press conferences, he's backing Vasseur publicly, calling him a stabilizing force. Calm in chaos. Cold blood when the heat rises. But it's Hamilton who's turning the screws, quietly, intently. He's the one refusing to fade into a background role, the one who's seen too many teams fall apart under pressure to let this one do the same. Nico Rosberg recently said it best. He could be giving up, but Lewis is really pushing on. And it shows. Behind every messy qualifying session, every awkward debrief, Hamilton's logging hours, fighting the car, fighting the data, fighting the clock. Now the circus arrives in Hungary, a track built for tension, tight, slow corners, no room for error, no easy overtakes, a driver's circuit, and Hamilton's own personal theatre. 8 wins, countless miracles. The Hungaroring is Lewis Hamilton, but this time he arrives with no podiums and a car that barely knows itself. The SF25 has the upgrades, the team has the data. For the first time in weeks, Ferrari has space, 3 full practice sessions to understand what they've created. No sprints, no chaos, just pure, uninterrupted optimization.
This isn't just about Budapest, this is about momentum. Ferrari won't introduce any more major upgrades this year. The floor changes were cancelled. The car you see now, that's what they'll take to war for the rest of 2025, which means Hungary is the line in the sand. If the car clicks, if the suspension stabilizes grip, if the tyre wear improves, if the SF25 can hold its own in those slow corners, then this isn't just about a podium. It's about a signal that the ship is turning, that Vasseur's vision has teeth, that Hamilton made the right call. But if it doesn't, if Hungary goes wrong, then it becomes something else. A weight, a haunting reminder that not even Hamilton can will this team to greatness overnight. Because for all the confidence in the press room, the stakes are brutal. This is a team that hasn't won a championship since 2008, that nearly beat McLaren in 2024 and then fell into confusion just 1 year later. A team that can't afford another false dawn. And what happens next will echo into 2026, the next major rules overhaul. That's the real Ferrari rebuild, the real Vasseur car, the one that's already being developed behind closed doors while the world watches this season stumble. Vasseur says it himself. F1 is like turning an oil tanker. You spin the wheel and wait and pray the ship changes course in time. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to wait. He came to win. And he's not going to sit quietly if the iceberg comes into view. So here we are. The lights are about to go out. One team, two drivers, and the weight of history pressing down on every turn. The next 70 laps might not crown a champion, but they could define the path Ferrari walks into 2026. And who will be walking with them? Hamilton, Leclerc, Vasseur, the upgrades on, the politics are off. And the only question left is whether Budapest becomes a lifeline or the beginning of the end. What do you think? Is this where Ferrari's future finally takes shape? Or just another beautiful disaster? Drop your theory in the comments because this story is far from over.